remember. But remember.
Hello and welcome to the Filmbusters podcast. I am one of the hosts of the podcast, Miguel.
And I'm Lara.
So my Instagram is Miguel Whittle. That's my Instagram link you can follow.
Yeah, I'm just Lara Sugden.
And the Filmbusters podcast here also has an Instagram you can follow as well. The previous episode had Nathan and Esther talking about the Oscars and award ceremonies in general, also talking about the Oscars this year, talking about the different results that had happened. And for this episode, we'll be talking about just this year, 2023, so far anyways, in terms of movies. We're about halfway through the year. We're getting halfway through the year.
Like what to expect, what's coming up. And
also to talk about, I guess, for the first topic, talk about what films did we see this year and any films that we really enjoyed. So Lara, what films did you see? How's 2023 been for you? Has it been better so far than maybe last year?
It's been a good year. Obviously, we're expecting a lot more of the bigger films to come in the summer, but so far it's been really great. I mean, I'm a massive Scream fan, so I was very excited for when that came out. We had 65 with Adam Driver. I recently saw that, really enjoyed it. And it was only two characters as well the whole time, which I really loved. All in like basically one location, forest, between these two actors. It was really great performances.
That's quite interesting. I haven't seen that film, but that seems a bit interesting. I guess when you look at the trailers and see the film as it is, it's probably, I guess to some it might look just like a generic sort of dino action film, kind of like
Jurassic Park remake.
I don't know if I saw loads of films this year, but in terms of films I did see, one film I did see this year that I really enjoyed, which was a film that it came out late last year, but it only came out like this year in the UK, was Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which has been getting a lot of rave reviews, and I personally agree with the rave reviews. It's a really, really good film. I mean, the animation has sort of a Spider-Verse like style, but it has a unique style to it.
Some big films this year with like big actors in the cast. Like there's the other more animation, Mario. I
thought was a very fun film. I thought it's like a film that I know doesn't get the most amazing reviews, but I think for me as someone who enjoys the games, I think it was overall just a really fun time.
I was talking earlier about the films that sort of flopped.
Yeah, there's been a couple of misses. I think one of the examples to talk about would be, it's been unfortunate for not the best start for superhero films. The first one from Marvel was like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which that had a budget around of 200 million. And I took a look, I think, at the results, but I believe it got about 474.6 million.
Those films have really gone down in the past few years.
Yeah, I think there's the problem is that I haven't caught up with everything, but that's because with Marvel, like if you take a look at Phase 4, the last phase that has been complete recently, the content that was released on that with all the movies and shows was more than all of phases 1 to 3. So it's kind of like there's been so much content released. It's almost like every month you would get a Marvel project. And I think that kind of brings in the quantity over quality. And another film that didn't do very well, I think did worse, was Shazam! Fury of the Gods from DC, which that had a budget of, according to Wikipedia, had a budget of 110 to 125 million, and its box office result was 133.4 million. Which is a very low result. But with superhero films, I guess it's important to talk about the next topic about superhero fatigue, which has been a talking point for some people. Yeah. So I don't know about you, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like they're not as big at the minute. We had like the big like Avengers films and all of them, Endgame, and now I feel like, I don't know if as a comic book fan yourself, are you excited for the Flash to be coming out? Is there anything that you're like expecting from it?
The topic with superhero fatigue is there too much superhero? Are audiences getting burnt out with it? Because with Marvel releasing so much content, everything kind of brings up the question of, do we need like as much superhero content as much as we do? And I don't know if there's superhero fatigue, but I think for the superhero movie genre, I think audiences are, with stuff like Shazam and Ant-Man and the Wasp, those are just like recent examples, but if it's the case of it continuing to happen, I think it's less to do with superhero films fully dying out, because I think it'll be a while before that happens. But I think it's people being more picky. People are being more choosy towards what they want to see, because I think, audiences don't want to have to waste as much money having to watch this film that they may not be interested in. And obviously DC, as I said, is rebooting with a new universe. James Gunn has announced new projects that are being worked on at the moment. and The Flash is sort of like the reboot towards DC. And I think that film will be. I think people are excited for that film because that film does have a number of sort of like nostalgic moments coming in, like Batman's coming in, played by Michael Keaton. I think we're seeing a lot of nostalgic properties making comebacks in our industry.
Spider-Man, that was a big thing with the three of them coming back. I sat in at a 9 a.m. cinema screening of Spider-Man with the whole film society.
Oh, okay.
It was absolutely crazy. I felt like I was the only girl in there. Who didn't really know what was going on.
Not the full story.
Two guys right next to me jumped out of their seats and were screaming, even though they knew it was coming.
Actually, speaking of with Marvel as well, like obviously the trailer that's playing here now on the screen is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I know you're excited for that one.
I'm excited for that. And I think that kind of brings into the superhero fatigue where I don't think superheroes are fully going to die down. I think this film, for example, which comes out this month, actually, I think it may even have come out today on May the 3rd. I think this film will do very well successfully on May the 5th, it says as well. So I think this film will do very successfully. But talking about 23 as a whole, what films do you think are gonna be successful for this year? And,
looking forward to
and everything.
There's so much coming out. I mean, 21st of July was like a big one. Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Yes, those are the two films coming out. Yeah.
Recently heard Oppenheimer has now postponed its release date. I want to say it's like December now, but much later, because they obviously know Barbie's going to be a big one. It's either going to be absolutely amazing or absolutely terrible. But I love Greta Gerwig. I think she's great, and it seems to have a really great cast. Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie and Emma Mackey, and I mean there's
Ncuti Gatwa's in it as well. I think with this film, I think there was the point of I think Margot has said the script they would think is one of the reasons why she thought it wasn't going to get made because it had a very unique feel to it.
She's like, no way are they going to let us make this. She said in an interview recently. But yeah, I think it's going to be great. There's so many theories going around of like what's going to happen. People watching the trailer, but I think the trailer's great because it doesn't give really anything away. What films are you looking forward to?
Films I'm looking forward to. I think one film that's a superhero film is it's based on a comic book that I'm excited for actually is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. The animation for that is very similar to the animation to another film which is getting a sequel coming out this year, which I'm very excited for, called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse, which I absolutely love.
Which absolutely blew up.
I'm very excited for that film as well.
I think it's going to be a really great year. I have high hopes for films like Barbie. Oppenheimer, I just know is going to go crazy. Dune, we've got...
Dune Part 2,
that's going to... I mean, I have high hopes for that as well.
Those are definitely... I think those will probably be hits. I'm not too sure in terms of films that could potentially be like flops or misfires.
There might be some that we haven't
studios.
Heard about yet. There's that has come out, and I need to see that.
Yeah, that could potentially do either pretty well or maybe not underperform a tiny bit.
I mean, looking at like behind the scenes and everything, it looks like it's going to be great. I feel like this is going to be a really great year compared to like last year. You had like Don't Worry Darling and that. But
there was a couple of flops from that. I remember there was also Amsterdam as well, and I didn't watch that, but that was because of my personal not dislike towards the director David O. Russell. But
I think that was an example of a team that put all their money into the cast and not the story. But not every true story makes an interesting film.
It's a bizarre sort of thing,
but yeah, it looks like it's going to be a really great year for films 2023, so I'm really looking forward.
Yeah, I think that's all the time to talk about for the Filmbusters podcast. Thank you all for watching. As we've said, we have our Instagrams as well to follow, and the Filmbusters Instagram to follow, where we'll hopefully post a couple of interesting little polls and everything, and little interesting posts as well, little clips of this episode as well. You can also be sure to check out our first episode as well. What
was the first one again?
Oscars as well, talking about the award ceremonies in general. So thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, or thank you for listening if you were just listening.
Cool. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for chatting.
But remember,